3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash. Today is February 26th. It's a Wednesday. That means it's New Comic Book Day. Joining me, as always, is Stan the Man. She needs no real introductions. He's pretty much the godfather of comics. Rest in peace, Stan. We miss you. But thank you for joining me on my channel. And also our channel mascot, Forky, which if you don't know why he's on my channel, then you need to go watch some videos in the past. Forky is he's kind of a special character to me. I really resonated with Toy Story 4. And he's also our expert on all things trash. That noise you hear in the background is the dogs, Luke and Luna. And got my comic books, I got my drink, and I got my In-N-Out burger. Eric Breen championed me to bring back the 3-2-1, so there it is in writing for you, Eric. Cement that in memory, take a screenshot. You can always have it with you. But one thing you can't have with you is this Juicy Double Double. It's mine. Went back to the classic today. Oh, they laid it sideways in it. Let's see. Yeah, it slid around a little bit. That's what happens with the cheese. It slides, but whoa, almost fell out of the box there. That's a double with onions. Oop, they got the onions this time. Extra spread, add pickles to it, and I put a special request. I put ketchup on the spread, which if you haven't had it this way with ketchup on the spread, you think it wouldn't make a difference. Normally they put the ketchup on the top bun if you order ketchup. But on the spread, it mixes with the spread and makes it better, in my opinion. That's my little secret tip for you. I'm going to devour this burger. I'm going to make these guys watch, and then we're going to get in the comics. I'll be right back. There. You see, that wasn't so long. Through the magic of video editing, you didn't have to suffer. Well, at least not through me eating a burger. You do have to suffer, I guess, the rest of this video. Or you can click to another video, which a lot of people do. But that's the way of YouTube. We're the short attention span generation. I don't blame you. But if you are here to see new comics that were pulled, that's where we're going next. Now, on the screen here, you can see the little card, little free launch party card that my store gave out for Wolverine #1. They didn't actually have a launch party because no stores really do that anymore because comics don't sell anymore. I think Batman 50 was the end of the launch parties. It just cost the store a lot of money to stay open until midnight, have the staff there, and do this thing. And it's like, for what? The comic book companies, and it wasn't Marvel's fault that DC screwed up the wedding, but it was just indicative of the greater problem, right? That, it's no big deal to get the comics tomorrow morning. Who's coming out at midnight on a work night? It's not like this is X-Men #1 here, like Jim Lee X-Men #1 or Todd McFarlane Spider-Man #1. There's no reason to be doing these stupid launch parties. And furthermore, it just showed, like I was trying to say, that the comic companies don't even care. They're just like how DC screwed up the wedding. It's indicative of the same things Marvel. So like, here's a book where these predatory practices and encouraging the stores to behave the same way is just ludicrous. The stores understand that they can't behave predatory because that will directly translate to their sales. And, sales in a comic book store is but a fraction of what, a publisher like Marvel or DC sell. So they feel every single canceled comic. That's a big deal. Marvel or DC go, well, we lost 1,000 readers, no big deal. And if you say that they're not doing that, it's evident. Brian Michael Bendis has lost upwards 20,000 readers off of Superman, and DC is still backing that horse. Tom King almost cut the sales of Batman in half before they pulled him off the title. He was doing between 100 and 120K units of Batman when I got back in the industry in 2017. And yeah, I think it's down to like 60 or 50. Oh, actually, that's not. It's a little bit iffy when you look at the Comic-Con numbers because my boy Wes always points out to me, they got the variant covers. So the cardstock covers have a different SKU, and so they're listed twice. But But regardless, 40,000, let's just call it 40,000. You know, these are huge numbers that if the publishers can overlook that, they can overlook some substantial stuff. A comic book store can't overlook 10 people canceling Batman. That's a huge deal. And they certainly can't, you know, what's Wolverine going to sell, number one? It's an $8 book. I'm going to guess the numbers were 140,000. We'll see how the sales are when the February numbers are released. I'm guessing about 140,000. And we know why that they did this double-sized book. It's not even really a double-sized book. I mean, it's twice the number of pages, but it's just 2 comics. It's a comic and then a backup comic inside so that they could get 2 number 1s, right? Because Marvel knows that Wolverine number 2 sales are going to drop in half at least for what number 1 sells. Anyways, I have this card because I didn't get the book. Now, you may notice, if you care, that I didn't do a video last week. I had some personal stuff going on, and I just didn't do it. I was like, F it. It's a channel. This is all a hobby. My channel, I don't make money on this. This isn't my job. So I didn't do it. Well, Wolverine came out that week. I did actually happen to get a chance to read it, and I did a review that you can watch. It originally was it was an Ash On video that I changed at the end because I went over 30 minutes. And I was like, my target for my review videos are supposed to be like 10 minutes to 15 minutes. It's supposed to be a quick in and out. Here's my opinion of the book. Get out. Or my Ash On videos are meant to be like, let's talk about this comic, which often also includes a review, because if you're going to discuss a whole comic, you might as well give your thoughts and opinions on whether it was good as well. But when I got that, I was like, you know, I just ramble on like I'm doing right now. And I was like, I'm not going to list this as a review. You probably don't give a shit one way or the other. So, but that's why. So here's a picture of Wolverine. It's got a pretty cool cover. The book actually was pretty decent. I went and watched Zach's video afterwards and listened to his comments on it. And he had a lot of good points that I didn't really make. And in hindsight, I kind of feel like I was a bit too generous with the book. I gave the book a positive review. And I try to be generous. I try to be nice. I know I can come off pretty salty sometimes about stuff, but you know, so maybe after you watch my video, watch Zach's video, compare. Yeah, he made some funny points. So starting off last week's poll, I'm including it here. This is a shout out to Wes, my boy, who got me to read Blade Runner. Now, I haven't actually read it yet, so I can't comment on the quality of the book, but I'm convinced that I'm in for something good, partially because I trust Wes' opinion. He's got some, you know, we disagree sometimes, but I think overall when he's really hyped on a book, I've never seen him go, this book is outstanding, it's amazing, and it actually be crap. The closest is some of the X books, but I think Wes is going to come around on those, but we'll see. Anyways, it's all friendly, it's all debates, opinions, comic books are opinions, but Blade Runner, the sealing deal here was Michael Green. This is a guy that wrote the Blade Runner screenplay, and more importantly, the 2049 screenplay, which I think was the movie of the year, most vastly underrated sci-fi film, or just film in general. It's a masterpiece of a film. The filmmaker, Denis Villeneuve, it's really hard to pronounce his name. Every film he's done is just astounding. He did, what's that? The Sicario was the first film of his that was like a major release. He's done films before that, but Sicario, and then he did Arrival, that sci-fi movie, Arrival. Not The Arrival with Martin, like the recent one with Amy Adams. That was a phenomenal sci-fi mind bender. And then Blade Runner 2049, which was astounding. And then he's doing the upcoming Dune, and I cannot wait. Anyways, I was like, what? I thought it was just some chump Titan Comics F-list writer doing Blade Runner. I was like, who cares? And then I was like, well, okay, it's Michael Green writing it. Sold. Yeah, especially, on Wes and others, recommendations. Now, I get the B covers if I can, because you may not know who Sid Mead is, but Sid Mead is a concept futurist artist dating back as far as I can remember. I think the 70s, maybe, I don't know. He's been doing, basically, he's a futurist. I think it's the right term. I could be wrong. Tell me in the comments if you know the right term, where they basically, an artist goes and they try to predict what the future will look like and then render it in their art. And Sid Mead has been one of these people who's been doing it forever. He's one of the best. So many movies have used his imagery and stuff, and including Blade Runner for the movies, I'm pretty sure, used Sid Mead's stuff. And so for Sid Mead to do covers of Blade Runner, I'm like, I don't give a shit who you got. I'm picking up all the Sid Mead covers. Now, this isn't indicative of his best work because it's a comic cover and Titan's not going to pay him for his best stuff. But still, for a comic cover, it's fantastic. And I've talked enough about Blade Runner 2019. I will be doing a video on how good the book is. Next, speaking on sci-fi, we have Oblivion Song. This is Robert Kirkman of Walking Dead fame. Robert Kirkman is one of the best in the business, both as a talent as a writer, but also as a producer of comics. He is one of the heads. He's been made a partner of Image. He's one of the heads there. He has his own imprint under Image called Skybound. And you can look for on his comics, see there at the top says Skybound. Any of the Skybounds fall under Kirkman's direct little studio imprint. And I think he's doing things right. His other comics that are coming out from this that you may be aware of are Birthright, is one I'm a big fan of. Die, 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 which is currently on hiatus, but that's coming back. Trying to think what else. There's some other ones that he does too, but those are the three that I get. And and Walking Dead, of course, that's canceled, but that was under that. I love what Kirkman does in comics. He respects the fandom. He's not out to make a quick buck through gimmickry and predatory practices. He's the exact opposite of Marvel and DC. He's a guy, like when he ended Walking Dead, which was issue 193, he solicited issues 194 and 195 that were complete bogus to Diamond. So Diamond would then solicit, the stores and fans, and people were like, oh, no. And in reality, he did that to camouflage that 193 would be the last issue. Which you think, well, what's the big deal of that? Well, number one, because he didn't try to exploit it. He just wanted to end his story. He wanted fans that were buying the story all along and had it in their pull list to get the book, and he knew it was going to be a big hot collector's item because of what he was doing. He made an 80-page giant book with the prestige format, the bookshelf format, not the staple, and he only charged you $3.99, just like every other issue. This is a guy with integrity. I really love that. So Oblivion Song is his baby right now, and has a lot of similarities to Walking Dead in that it's an ensemble sort of soap opera, but it's not zombies. It's sci-fi where there's a world, and then there's a parallel world that's in another dimensional plane, and scientists have discovered a way to travel between, but they did it through an accident that caused this big catastrophe, and some people got lost. And you got to read the books, and it's really cool because it's super plot heavy. It's one of these books where you get into it and you're like, what's going on? And that's the point to read the book, is the book slowly reveals to you, layers of what's happening and what's going on and who's doing what their motives, and you're just you're gripped. You just can't wait for the next issue to find out what's going on. I can't recommend Oblivion Song enough. You can get the trades really cheap. Image does a great job of doing their trades if you don't want to get the floppies or if you just want to get caught up. Moving on to DC. Actually, before we move on to DC, I don't have any Marvel this week for last week, but I do actually. I just missed it. It was Daredevil number 18. So Daredevil number 18 should be on here. I went to the store and I was going to pick it up, and then it wasn't in my pull list for whatever reason. I guess someone just dropped the ball, and I just brain farted going on the wall and picking it up. But I called them just recently. They have it in my pull list for next week. So I do have it. It's not here to show you, just for the sake of books that I pull. Also, I have read it because I read my books digitally. And wow, Daredevil's freaking fantastic. There's been some naysayer YouTubers who are like, Daredevil's slipping, this or that. I call bullshit. Daredevil is still the best comic at Marvel. The artist right now is not Chichetto, which is the really good artist that we like, but it's not the shitty fill-in artist that they had. It's a guy who kind of reminds me of a poor man's Dave Mazzucchelli. And if you're like, I don't know who Dave Mazzucchelli is, he's the guy who did Batman Year One and also the greatest Daredevil comic ever, which is Daredevil Born Again. He's the artist there. This guy has a similar style. He's not quite as elevated as an artist, but it has that same visual style and appeal, and I'm happy with it. In modern Marvel, I'll take it. And the writing is tremendous. Chip Zdarsky is going to be a thing. If he can keep getting this better, he's going to be a writer to be reckoned with. He may not stay in comics very long. So anyways, on to DC. Got Justice League 41, second issue by Venditti. Haven't read the Venditti books yet. I know, shame on it, you Ash. And then the final thing, the thing that I was dreading going to the comic book store this week because I missed last week was, the big thing we've been talking about with Batman 89. And I was just like, I have it in my pull. I've been buying Batman. It should be there, no problem. But I just had this weird feeling like, what if it's not? What if this is the book they missed? And then, of course, it's sold out everywhere. It's going for like $20 to $50 on eBay. There's all this hubbub. There was a video that Wes did with fellow comic aficionado Pele. And by the way, shout out to my boy Pele. Dude is getting reamed in the comments by a bunch of jerks, totally unfairly. I actually really agreed with almost everything that Pele said. I did see Wes's points, but I saw his points only from the standpoint that Wes is purely a reader. He doesn't approach comics in the form of a comic collector, which is fine. Everyone is free to do whatever they want. But comic collecting, it's been a collectible hobby for 40 years and longer. And it's multiple generations now. It's just like any collectible hobby, collecting stamps, baseball cards, sports memorabilia, whatever, you name it. Things have a volatile price point. They go up and they go down. And if something's hot and speculators are like, oh my God, they scoop everything up. And then because of basic economics, supply and demand, the book now is worth something. And Batman at launch was $20. This issue that you see right here was going for about $20. Now, Pele says that at his store, he was selling it for about $14. A lot of people got pissed off. Oh, you're ripping off. That's price gouging, da-da-da. No, he sells comic books. That is his store. It's a collectibles store. The book was valued between $20 and $50. It's hard to nail down because when something's that volatile, you can't get a definitive price point like that. It's really going to be based on how much someone's willing to pay. But the fact is, it was easily going for $20 and as high as $50. So somewhere in between. If he's selling it for below that, he's actually selling it for below value. From a collector standpoint, which I'm not really a big collector anymore. I just don't have the funds to really be a collector in that sense. But I have a collector in spirit. And I actually collect comics not for monetary value, but for like personal nostalgia. And I just like having certain runs that I can show off and feel proud of. But I get it. And I think Pele was doing a service to fans by offering the book at a marked up price because it was marked up, and that's what he's in business for. And he wasn't. If he was selling it at $50, I could see an argument of gouging, but he wasn't selling it at $14, limiting one per customer. People go, I should just be able to come in and buy it at cover price. Yeah, except if that is the way that it worked, you wouldn't be able to come in and buy it at cover price because the guy who got there first would have bought the entire stack and no one else would have got a copy, and then he would have gone on eBay and charged you $20 to $50, and then that's where you would have had to go to get the book, and then you'd be pissed off at Pele or dealers like him for going, that's not fair, you just, and then you need to limit one per customer, or you got to make sure this or make sure that, and it's like, so people want the comic stores to sell the books that benefit them, when really it's up to the comic stores to sell the comics that benefit the store. And so I side with it. If you don't like the collectability of comics, if you don't like that Batman 89 was $20 and was sold out the day you walked in, I say tough titties. Get the second print. Well, I don't want the second print, Ash. I want the first print. That's the one. Then you're buying into the collectability of it. Collector's items cost money. That's the way that it is. But look at it this way. If you spend $20 on it, it's currently worth $20. So it's not like you're spending $20 and you're just getting paper that's worth nothing. Most comics, for example, this book right here, even though it probably shouldn't be because it's Venditti, but this book will probably be worth nothing. This will probably be in a dollar bin in a few months. And you're losing money. You probably won't be able to get any return on it because the store can get $1, but they'll maybe give you bulk pricing, which would be like 10 cents an issue. So essentially you lost $4 on this book. But this book, if you bought it for $14, you just made $6. Anyways, this is my comics pull list video. Today I walked into the store and the actual first appearance of the girl that's not here on the cover, Punchline is her name. By the way, she only has one panel. It's like in the last page. This is not going to be a real first appearance book, so don't go spend $20 on this book. This book will come down. The book that came out today that everyone's trying to get, which is the Hell Arisen, the Year of the Villain, issue 3 of the miniseries, actually has the full first appearance of Punchline. And that book, my store today, as I walked in this morning, within an hour of opening, was completely, well, sorry, not completely. They had 2 copies left. One customer walked in that was kind of a regular and was like, how can I get one? And they're like, well, I have only 2 copies left. I'll sell you one for $20. And he's like, sold. Like, he didn't even bat an eye. He was like, sold, $20. He wasn't like, what? Oh, this is outrageous. He was like, cool. And then the store was like, we're going to keep this other one. Because I asked him about it. I was like, oh, you only got one left? And they're like, yeah, but I think we're going to hold on to it and see what happens with the book. And I was like, cool, fair enough. I didn't flip out and be like, I should be able to buy this book. No one would have got it. Anyways, I've ranted on that too much. So this is last week. What do you think is going to be the best? Think of Daredevil. That's where, well, I already know because I read Daredevil. And so Forky, he's kind of lost here. He would pick Daredevil, but I'll just keep him here on Blade Runner. And, well, he's not, wait, Forky, you pick trash. There's no trash here. I also read this Batman book. So let's keep Forky off to the side. He doesn't have a pick this week. And Stan, I'll leave Stan off the side because Stan, of course, the creator of Daredevil himself. Chip Zdarsky is doing it great honor. I like these books. This was a good week, even though it was small. 5 books. That's this today's industry. 5 books a week, $20 a month. I don't think that's bad. I think if we could get 1 million comic book buyers, collectors, buying comics, and they only bought 5 books a week, the industry would be thriving. So let's move on to bigger and better things. By the way, I forgot my golden rule: always show your receipts. The progressives in the industry, the cancel culture, the SJWs are trying to ruin shit. They try to claim that we don't buy comics when it's really them that don't buy comics. That's just their projections. Always show your receipts. I buy comics, and I make I can't tell you how many times I've had people on Twitter accuse me, you don't even read comics ads, you don't buy comics. Dude, I make videos every week showing you the comics that I buy. So I used to do videos daily describing the comics that I bought. So anyways, I was really excited to see these back on the shelf. I haven't seen these in a while. I don't know what's going on with my store, but they're back. DC previews and Marvel previews. Super excited about this event. Could give 2 shits for this event. Marvel, what the hell are you doing? I love doing videos on these though. So you're going to get some videos. I just wanted to show those off. I love picking those up from my store. They're fun to browse through, and they're fun to do videos. You can browse. You don't even need to worry about finding those yourself. You can just browse through as I do it live. So this week, starting off, Usagi Yojimbo Color Classic number 2. Usagi Yojimbo, for 35 years, has been one of the best comics on the shelf, bar none. It's utterly fantastic, and yeah, you should just buy it. It's quality. It's something you'll be happy to let your kids read. It'll be something that you're ecstatic to read yourself. Pay no attention to the fact that it looks like a cartoon animal, and you go, I'm not into cartoon animals. This is just like a metaphorical character. Like this is written like an adult story, and it's phenomenal. I just can't describe it. People who read Usagi Yojimbo, they go, oh, I get it. Everyone knows. You just have to make that leap. And I'm so happy to support it. Stan Sakai is one of the best in the business. There's no bullshit in these books. Then going on to DC, we got Justice League Dark. It is still James Tynion. who's rescued us from the Batman woes, who's been doing a bang-up job on Justice League Dark. No one's been giving him the credit he deserves. If you're like, DC, blah, 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 DC's got 3 good Justice League books. 3 that are fantastic. And it's not like just Justice League Team A, Justice League Team, like the way the X-Men was, X-Men yellow, blue, and red. It's not like that. They're distinctively different Justice League. Like, one is dealing with the dark, magic and things like that, the mystical realm. The main Justice League, which is your Super Friends. And then you've got Justice League Odyssey, which is your big cosmic level book. And it's also kind of where some of the Titans were folded in. And it's a cool thing. And it's like 3 different team books that just all share the name Justice League. And they're all well done. You've got Scott Snyder, Dan Abnett, and then James Tynion. Now you got Venditti, not Scott Snyder. So Venditti. And then the guy who's taken over Justice League Dark is a favorite from some of the comic aficionados, Ram V. He's from that Vault Publishing. He does horror books, and I'm like, okay, well, they're like, he's a great writer, and I'm like, okay, well, if he's a great writer and he does horror books, and Justice League Dark seems like a perfect fit. More DC, Detective Comics 1020, Tomasi. Detective Comics has just been the solid Batman of choice. It really has been no contest since, for the past 35 issues, Detective Comics has been dominating Batman. And now that Tynion has taken over Batman, now it's a close race. Tynion, and that's good. We want to be like, which one's better? I don't know. And then they both raise each other up. Detective Comics, if you like Batman, Detective Comics is a fun book. Speaking of Batman, you can now also get Batman and Superman. Now, some people pass on this book because they weren't into the whole dark multiverse stuff, which I don't get. I liked Metal a ton. Josh Williamson's a great writer, and he did a fantastic job with Batman, Superman 1-6, which did tie in with the Batman Who Laughs. But that story arc is over. This is the beginning of a new story arc, which apparently has General Zod come into the picture, and he's after Ra's al Ghul. That's compelling. The bad thing is the artist has changed, and we've got Nick Darrington. So I'll probably do a view on this book. And last, but certainly not least, the book everyone should be getting that I cannot believe anyone who, if you don't have this on your pull list, I want to smack you, like in a friendly way, not violently. Batman, Curse of the White Knight. If you want to see great comics, this is a great comic. It's so great that I buy it twice. I buy both covers, and I never buy both covers. I love this book, emphatically. It's been a long time since I've been able to find a writer/artist that excites me on this level. Honestly, it's been since I discovered Frank Miller back in the 80s. And I was like, wow, this guy is amazing. And I discovered Frank Miller in his writing originally, with Batman Dark Knight Returns, and then Year One. He did draw Dark Knight Returns, but I wasn't really impressed with the art of Dark Knight Returns as much. And later on, when I saw how I learned about him, and I became a fan, and how I went back and saw his Daredevil work and saw how he came in, then read Ronin, then he went off and did his Sin City books, and I followed him all through Sin City. I just became this massive fan of Frank Miller's art. Sean Gordon Murphy isn't Frank Miller, but he's the closest that I've ever felt. His art is astounding. It blows me away. I know it has a little bit of a cartoonish look. It's stylized, but I think that's important. I don't necessarily want every illustrator to be photorealistic. And he's perfect for Batman, and he shows a reverence for Batman that in these books, you're going to get a Batman story that's clearly Elseworlds. It clearly does not follow the continuity of the DC comics. It takes some liberties. drastic liberties with Harley Quinn, for example. But the liberties all make sense. It's very much the way Christopher Nolan played around with some of the Batman stuff, made some big changes, but the changes he did still made sense. They were different, they were not accurate, but they felt that they could have been. It was like, oh, okay, well this is wrong, but it's within the essence of the character. Batman White Knight is astounding. It's something that you can buy for the writing, which it's not just even like competent writing. It's damn near masterful. I did reviews on issues 4 and 5, which, I mean, just go watch my video on issue 4, for example, to see why and how he's able to compose a scene and draw your emotions out and make you care and take you on this emotional ride. Not just carry you through the plot line and go, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next, but honestly feel things. That's a rare thing in comics. And also the visuals. In modern day comics, we're so used to art being shit that we've stopped caring. It used to be, we cared. I mean, we bought Spider-Man #1. We didn't give two shits whether Todd McFarlane could tell a story. We just wanted to ogle at his amazing illustrations. Turned out that Todd could write a halfway decent story and whatever, that's fine. It was pleasing to look at. Comics are a visual art form. These books are beautiful to look at. I mean, way even more so than the covers. You combine it with the outstanding writing, and these are some of the best books in 20 years. Unless you just hate Batman, if you're like, Batman's the stupidest character, you should not be passing on this. It's $3.99. Wait, no, these are $4.99. I'm sorry. But they are the black label. They're higher production value with the nice covers and papers embossed. It's hard to see in the sleeve. I'm gonna call it a sleeve, like it's a collectible card game. You know what I'm talking about, the board and bag and board. So that's my poll for this week, guys. It's been a long show. I talked about the Batman controversy and my opinions on that. I showed you my books. What do you think is going to be the best this week? It's no surprise that Stan is there. What's going to be the worst? Well, Forky just doesn't have anything to pull again. So sorry, Forky. Here, you can stand with Stan. You'd be friends. Tell me what you're buying. Tell me what you like. What's exciting you in comics right now? It's easy to be salty, and I'll join in on the salt. I love a good, high sodium diet sometimes. But, high sodium over a long period of time is unhealthy for you. So you got to eat healthy sometimes. Stay positive sometimes. Bitch and moan about the stuff that deserves it, but don't lose your way. You like comics? Find the comics you like. Be excited about them. Share them with others. Get them to read those comics. Explain to them why. That's what this industry needs. The marketing sucks, right? Normies are not finding these. And even if you're only buying a couple comics a month, that's fine. That makes you a comic reader. It makes you a comic collector. You don't got to buy tons of books. Set yourself a little budget. That's what I do. $25 a week. I don't want to go over it. I look to buy about 5 books. And that's it. You can buy a lot of stuff. I found a good store that has dollar bins. I did a couple videos on those. Tons of back issues. You can catch up on trades through Comixology. Get yourself a good mix of reading. You can collect some of the, have some beautiful books like this in your collection. Read some good old trades through the digital. Just find what you love. And then find other people that love it too. And have a good time. Enjoy this hobby. It's unlike any other. And I'm so glad that you've made it this far in the video. I really appreciate everyone that has lent their eyeballs to me. That's no slight. I know I'm not going to make any cash doing this, but your time is a form of payment in itself, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate your comments. I do read them all. I don't really have time to comment on everything, but I do read them, and I really do like them. Tell me what you're pulling. I love seeing pull lists. You can just type it. Share with other people who are watching the video what you're pulling. If you have your video of your own, tell me in the comments. I will be happy to come check you out. And if I like what I'll see, I'm happy to plug other channels. That's it. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next week. Later.